Hey there guys and gals, welcome back to Back Pocket Game Reviews, and today I've got a very important question that I'm going to pose, and then we're going to kind of dive into why I'm asking it. Is E3 dying? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward at this point. So, for those of you who haven't followed the news as of recently, well, you've had EA games and Sony both announced they will not really have much of a presence at E3, at least not in terms of a press conference. So here's the thing. As someone who is a huge gamer, someone who loves games, E3 has kind of been like a dream to go to for me for a while. Like, that would almost be like getting to go to Disney, but for video games. I love video games. It's probably been my biggest hobby since I was a kid. But I can't help but feel like E3 is dying. Like, this is it. There's gonna be no more E3 at some point soon. And it's funny because a lot of these people are saying that E3 is now irrelevant. It doesn't make any sense for the customer. I agree to disagree. I watch the press conferences. I've made a huge deal about it every year. Last year I did videos immediately after each one of the press conferences talking about all of the big announcements. The year prior to that, I live streamed them. I didn't live stream them the second year because I was plagued with strikes during that. By the way, you can have a copyright claim and it not strike your channel, which is what I was dealing with. So I was battling with all that, and I was really worried because I was getting like 3 to 4 claims of video because they were showing trailers. So yeah, that's why I don't stream those anymore. It's pretty annoying. EA leaving, I don't really care about. EA literally has one of the worst press conferences every year. We're gonna talk a bunch about stuff you don't care about. Like, we're just gonna chat up on stage, show you no games, and then we're gonna talk about 1 or 2 games and tell you about all of the changes coming to Madden and FIFA. That's essentially what EA does there. So never am I usually like, oh my god, I'm so excited for EA's press conference. Because they don't ever show off anything. And most of the games I do care about that they're working on, they're probably not going to show off at E3. Now, with Sony leaving, that's actually a little heartbreaking to me. Sony usually has a pretty solid press conference. That's the only reason why you can even say Microsoft probably puts on as strong of a press conference as they do. It's because of what Sony brings to the table. And those two are usually competitive on who's going to have the better press conference. What's going to be on whose stage? Where is it going to get announced at? Are we going to see new hardware? I mean, those are two things that we usually wonder about because the two of them are present. Competition creates creativity. So you innovate when you have competition. I don't really know how good Microsoft's E3 is going to be with Sony leaving. Nintendo left years ago. Nintendo does a Nintendo Direct, which is fine. If every company just did a monthly Nintendo Direct, I really wouldn't have like a huge problem with this. It doesn't even have to be monthly. We can do like an every 6-month one. You don't have to do it as a Nintendo Direct either. I mean, obviously you do it as like an Xbox Direct. I don't like all of a sudden expect to like sit down and see like one of the heads. There's Shigeru Miyamoto talking. I don't think he's ever been on a Nintendo Direct. And then all of a sudden like, oh my god, Phil Spencer's sitting next to him. What the hell? That would actually probably startle me. Not gonna lie. Like, I might not be able to sleep. That's how startled I would be by that. I would be less startled the day I can boot up Xbox Live on my Switch. I will be less startled by that. Phil Spencer's in Japan? What? So, I am a little curious to what this year's E3 is going to look like. Every year, I've been able to make whatever predictions I want, some of which we all know I just pull out of my ass because I want them. I want those things, not because it necessarily means they're going to happen. Plenty of the things that I predict are going to happen have no chance in hell of happening. It's sort of like how I always say I want a sequel to Naughty Bear, or I'd at least like backwards compatibility for Naughty Bear to be announced. Not gonna get it. It's not something they're willing to give me. It's not their fault. It wasn't a very successful game. I'm like one of the few people that probably bought it. So, what is E3 going to look like? What is going to be the shape of this year's E3? Obviously, Ubisoft is still there, as of right now. As of right now. And I think it's kind of a cheap cop-out to say this is for your fans. Because E3 started off as a expo to essentially show retailers and vendors of games what it is you were bringing to the table, what it is to show the press. And, well, you don't have to show the press anymore. You just go meet with the press. I mean, there are literally so many different ways to get new games out there with the invention of the internet, like YouTube. But if we're being fair, E3 has become more for the fans, for the consumer. Consumers watch E3. Hence why last year's E3 had record-setting numbers. They just recently opened this up to fans. Like, they just recently opened it up to people that buy games. They all now go to E3. All of those press conferences that they held last year, all were in packed stadiums, cinemas, theaters, whatever the hell they picked to hold it. I don't think anyone actually picked a stadium, so ignore what I just said right there. But if Microsoft's the only one there, and they drop a bomb with their hardware, I don't think they will. I honestly doubt that they're going to show off their hardware, or even name drop it. We already know they're working on it. I think they're going to wait for Sony's hand to go first. We're going to talk about this on its own, though, individually at some point, what to expect out of that next-gen hardware. I can't help but feel like slightly heartbroken. And as a consumer, I feel like we don't care to show you. We cared when we figured this was for people selling our games, for the media, for the news. But as a consumer, we don't give two shits if you know. That's just how it feels to me. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's really not the intention. I mean, hell, Sony's not even doing a PlayStation Experience event this year. I can see Sony doing a PlayStation Direct. They do tend to like to copy some of Nintendo's ideas, and I mean like one-to-one. Don't get mad at me for saying that. I've done a video about this before, and it's pretty accurate. No offense to Sony. I think Sony's a great company. I think they make some really good games. But sometimes they like to copy Nintendo. And that's fine. I get it. You got two companies that sort of don't really... Well, Sony doesn't really like Nintendo is the issue there. So, is E3 even going to be a big deal, though, this year? Am I still going to be super excited? I mean, is Bethesda giving a press conference? They don't usually announce theirs until, like, close to the end. And am I actually going to see The Elder Scrolls 6 this year? That's a big question for me. We'll cover that in the E3 predictions video. I'm gonna have to brainstorm predictions this year. With Sony being gone, that literally is a huge part of predictions that I make. My predictions are all going to be based around Ubisoft, Bethesda, and Xbox. That seems really weird to me. And I've watched a couple YouTubers do videos on this talking about how E3 is irrelevant and Nintendo was the first one to catch on. We're not gonna talk about who I'm mocking there. But I don't think it's relevant. I think part of it was for fans. It was a giant convention. I get it. Most people viewed it as a trade show. It was where a lot of these companies were showing off to vendors, to retailers, what their product is, to the press, to get people hyped about it. And obviously that's not going down now. Press isn't, I mean, the press is there. This is still a hypeable event. Oh, but the leaks have been so bad every year. I don't give a shit about the leaks. Some of us avoid leaks leading up to E3, okay? I want to be surprised. But I'm not. Not now. Surprise has been shit on. Someone shit in my Wheaties this morning. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. What do you think E3 is dead this year? Do you think it's even gonna be worth it? Do you think it makes sense for these companies to be pulling out? I don't know. Like, this actually is bothering me. Like, I wish I could tell you guys how badly it bothers me to see E3 die. Especially before I get to go to one. Oh, well, I guess I could always go to the GameStop Managers Conference. Let's buy tickets to that. Guys, as I said, let me know down below. If you want to follow me anywhere else, links are as always in the description box. And, well, according to a couple subscribers, you should probably check to see if you're actually still subscribed and ding the bell. Because apparently YouTube went and unsubscribed a bunch of people. I literally had someone go, oh, I now know why I haven't been getting notifications. I wound up unsubscribed from you. He didn't do it, so... also, I want to give a special shout out to Laura, because I've forgotten to do this a couple times. She sent me some of the stuff she got out of her, I assume it's a her. She goes by Asari Shepherd on here. Thank you for the loot box stuff. I appreciate it. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. I kind of need them right now. And I'll see y'all soon with plenty more content coming for you, so stick around.